Hello, loves. Hello, hello. It's Hills here from the Blue Flame Apothecary. Happy Blue Moon Aries Solar Eclipse Day. We are mere hours at the moment that I'm recording this in the morning in the Pacific Coast time zone of the US. I'm actually in a little village on the Central California coast on a very, very powerful grid line right now. I have been here for a couple of days in this little village called Cambria, California. And the energy here is almost dizzying. I'm glad I've had a day and a half or so to get my bearings. It took me, I'm still there. I went for a walk yesterday on a beach called Moonstone Beach, and there's these amazing stones all over this beach, and I was crying because there's so much energy. It was it's old and beautiful, and this sense of ancient temples crumbled and the stones turning in the sea, creating these smooth and beautiful multicolored stones. I'll actually be putting a grid together with some of them to hold the new moon circle for the members portal. And if the members portal is something that calls to you, I will have a link below for that. For this new moon and for all new moons, I hold space for a live transmission activation call. Let's get into the let's get into the energies of this particular lunar cycle. We are just coming into event horizon. Just coming into event horizon now. And there's a lot of forward momentum, even though in a couple of days on the 21st, Mercury is about to shift retrograde, starting a cycle of planets starting to shift retrograde over the coming months. But there's this newness coming in. There's this newness coming in, and part of the reason for that is this is the first eclipse that's shifting us into a nodal transit. So over the last 18 months, we have been in Taurus North Node, Scorpio South Node. So we've been really getting physical into our new, bringing the new into the physical, and clearing out old, stuck energies, stagnant energies, secrets, and the depths. Scorpio South Node is helping you to clear out any debris in your basement, in your cellar. And though it doesn't officially happen until July, the nodes are beginning to shift now. North Node into Aries, drive, passion, the new, create the new, bring in the new. With the South Node in Libra, our connections and balance and our relationships and how we relate to the world around us. So though we are feeling this new momentum, this energy that's coming through and that's going to take us into the rest of this year, technically the nodes are still in Taurus and Scorpio. Now there's this really interesting facet also, and I talked about this in my Wobbling Down the Destiny Line video, and I'll end cap this one with it. Pluto is making a T-square to the nodes through this eclipse wormhole, and as we move through this year into the eclipse wormhole of October, November of this coming year. And then the nodes will shift out of alignment with that T-square, though Pluto's still going to be wobbling back and forth between the end of Capricorn and the beginning of Aquarius. I've shared in other videos that eclipses are always a conjunction between the sun and the moon and one or both of the nodes. In the case of this particular solar eclipse, it is the sun and the moon in Aries, the final degree, the 29th degree of Aries, making a conjunction with the north node, which is still technically in Taurus. The energy of a solar eclipse conjunct the north node, especially when it's mixed sign like this, is really helping us to manifest. Taurus energy is materialization, manifestation. So it is helping us come into a deeper state of manifesting the new, which is beautiful energy to start an eclipse wormhole with, because we have this ability through eclipses to let go and allow the transformation to occur around us so that we can open up. In the Cosmic Light Drops, which I published last night, there'll be a link below, one of the ways that this felt to me is bringing us into that Dorothy in the tornado moment, that place where we're lifted up, we're spun around in circles, we land and we don't know where the hell we are. We just want to get back home. But even once we find home, we realize that we have changed so much and that home is not actually what it was when we left anymore. Even if the same people are still sitting in the same room, we understand ourselves to a new capacity that allows us to also understand them. And this is part of that energy of the Libra South Node, right? Helping us come into a better relationship with ourselves so that we can then be in better relationship with those around us. There's also an amazing grand water trine happening with the South Node during this lunar eclipse. We have Saturn, the Lord of Karma, Lord of Time, now in Pisces, helping us come into that flow state with our ideas of time and karma. One of the ways that it feels really loud to me, this particular trine with the South Node between Saturn in Pisces and the South Node in Scorpio, is that we are being given an opportunity to look deeply into our past, into our previous ways of being. And through that gaze, transcend old limiting ideas of what it means to have a karmic load, of what it means to come in with old sins. I don't know why it's coming in as old sins, but that's the way it's coming in right now. To come in with this, like, this idea of, I don't deserve A because I did B in a past life. When B in the past life can actually be a gift that you can receive so that you have learned, now I can do this, and then therefore A is actually attainable for you. It comes in as, I must carry this weight of grief with me all the time. I'm not allowed joy because I can feel how my ancestors did all of these horrible things, or I can feel how in a past life I did this horrible thing, or even I can feel 20 years ago I did this horrible thing. So now I must suffer forever. When perhaps you can find that you've learned something magical about yourself in the time since that happened and now. And through forgiving yourself for what your ancestors did, for what you did in a past life, for what you did 10 years ago, for what you did 10 minutes ago. Through forgiving yourself, you open up an ability for others to also forgive you. It's interesting, right? We don't often think about how without us forgiving ourselves, we block the ability of anyone else to also forgive us. Forgiveness must come from within first. And this new moon eclipse is opening up a beautiful portal for that sort of energy. Not only is Saturn making this exact trine to the south node and an exact sextile to the north node, so through that retrieval within the south node, then allowing a gifting into the north node of that forgiveness, right? Of that forgiveness. Piscean energy, before I move on to what the other leg of this trine is, Piscean energy is also that like Yeshua energy, that Yeshua, Jesus, Isa, whatever name you want to call that Christ light, that diamond consciousness energy, that violet, pink, blue flame in the heart space that clears out what's not needed anymore and opens up an unconditional love that is forgiveness. It's allowing a gifting then into the north node of this forgiveness so that you can step more fully into your destiny path, right? Into your destiny line. The nodes are called the destiny line. So Piscean energy, it's the fish. It is that Yeshua energy. So when we talk about Piscean energy as transcendent, part of what this transcendence is forgiveness. I'm feeling called to let that sink in a little bit. When you allow yourself to feel the fullness of transcendence is actually forgiveness. It feels yummy in the heart, doesn't it? It does for me anyhow. So here we have Saturn in Pisces making an water trine to the south node in its last couple of months in Scorpio. And then we find over in Cancer making this an exact grand water trine, Hecate, the queen of the witches, the torchbearer, holding aloft her torch and lighting the path so that as you do this reclamation work and renegotiate your emotional attachment, as you renegotiate your emotional attachment to your karmic load, there stands the triple goddess, all of the seasons, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And this isn't necessarily about female, like being a maiden, being a mother, being a crone. What it's a representation of is that it is the entire journey. It is the entire journey. And so here, this energy is standing, holding a torch in between, kind of off to an angle, because it's a trine to the south node, and then again a sextile to the north node, and in exact trine with Saturn. Reminding us that the emotions that we experience as we are coming into a new relationship with our old patterns and behaviors, whether they have been developed through this life, through what we witnessed in our parents and family and friends, through what we experienced in other lifetimes. Our emotional attachment is both a gift, and it's so innate that we don't even realize that we have it. Grand trines are about what is so innate to us that others can see it, but we can't a lot of times until it's revealed to us. And we could feel this as we have been running a program of not enoughness, of not allowedness, of wounds and traumas that go so deep we've never even realized that we are expressing them out in the world through our emotional body. And this is an invitation, this new moon is an invitation to say, let me reveal that. Let me show you your unconscious, because the new moon is always the sun conjunct the moon. Our outward expression of self connected to our unconscious and subconscious realm. It is the epitome of connecting our heights and our depths. And when it's in eclipse, it's saying, all right, let go and we will be transformed. Through this connection, we can allow ourselves to, let me feel the right word, transform the relationship our little s self and our big S self had with one another. Allow not a demonization of the ego, but a full embrace of, I see you. From our higher multidimensional self, say, yes, I see you. I see you, my ego self. I claim all of the aspects of you that are still mine, as I allow anything that is not actually true anymore to be released. There's a way that I journey with this, and I'm feeling like this is where we're going to end this update, but we'll see. When I am in deep meditative states or working with the land in land activations the way that I do, when light language is coming through for me, when I'm sitting on the coast of this beautiful village and all of a sudden songs of joy and hope and longing start to emanate out of me, and I don't know what the words are, they're just coming. There is a part of my being that is like, what the fuck are you doing? You are mad. You are mad. And I used to actually think that I can't meditate. I can't meditate because my brain is so active. I have a very, very active cerebral mental body. And so I would be like, I can't meditate. It's always moving. There's always something going. And then something clicked at one point, and I realized that what was being asked of me was not to banish all idea of thought, all idea out of my mind, but to witness them as they pass through. So now I can go and sit on the coast here in this Central California village, and I can get out of the way and allow these beautiful songs to move through me as I sing to the ancient land of Lemuria that is under the sea between here and Hawaii. And I can also be witness to that part of my mind that is really afraid of that aspect of my being, that is saying, people are going to think you're fucking crazy. And just say, I love you. Thank you. You're probably right. There is probably someone out there who's going to be like, you're fucking crazy. And, that's okay, because it's not their truth, it's mine. And that's part of what is on offer for us through this cycle that we're coming into. It's really been running for a couple of years now, right? And it's just gaining momentum. And we're being asked to really get into the driver's seat of our own soul path journey, to make space and to allow ourselves to witness that voice in our head, that voice that's saying, no, you're not allowed to do that. And with love say, are you sure? Maybe that is exactly what I need to be doing right now. And also to trust when that voice is right, when that voice is actually saying, no, this is not true. And have it be something that's really true in your heart space, right? Like, take that moment. Is this thing that I'm hearing, where is it coming from? And what is it saying? And how does it actually make me feel? Does it make me feel afraid because I'm stepping out of my comfort zone? Or does it make me feel afraid because it's actually not true? And it's interesting because even using the does it make me feel afraid because it's actually not true, even those words I didn't like as they were coming out, because it feels more true to say, did it make me uncomfortable because it wasn't true, as opposed to afraid. Usually fear kicks up, at least for me, when I'm about to go into something new. I have found for myself, when a massive expansion is about to happen, the things that kick up are my fear of abandonment and my fear of not fitting in anymore. I'll hear lots of you should just stop, you should just quit, turn around and go the other way, when I'm actually coming into a new, more expanded way of being. And if it's something that's not true for me, like the way that it feels in my body is like a pit in the bottom of my being. I often use my body as like a dowsing rod. So when I'm asking, is it true? I'll feel this expansion in my heart space when the answer is yes. And neutral is kind of right around my diaphragm, solar plexus. It just kind of settles. And it's like, you could go either way. This is not one of those decisions where it's going to, change everything in the course of your existence. Not that there's many of those, but I'll often ask for neutral before I go into a question so that I can feel that state of balance. Neutral might be a better balance, might be a better way to say neutral. And when it's no, it's like a clump of rocks just landed in my lower intestines and pelvic floor, like, ugh, just floored. When we say floored, that's what we mean, right? Like, this is a no. Like, I can't even get up now. I'm so weighted down. Oh, yes, it's true. Now I'm in center. Now I'm in center space. The energy where I'm at is so expansive and mysterious. I'm hoping that this has all flowed well. Speaking of getting into the driver's seat of your soul path journey, I have officially launched now the soul path explorations and light activations, the one-on-ones that have been moving and they've been in the chrysalis, and the monarch butterfly has fully emerged now. And these are very, very custom tailored. So it could be working natal chart, it could be working Akasha, it could be both. Mostly it's going to be us in an open channel, deep diving into where you are currently, where you've been, and where you're going, and then allowing light to move through to activate the next rememberings within your being. You can, because these are so custom tailored, I don't have like super detailed descriptions of what it is, but I am offering a free 30-minute consult. So there will be a link below to the website where you can request a consult for that. You can also request a natal chart transmission, soul path guided journey as a standalone. That's also on offer. Let me feel if there, it kind of feels like there's one more piece that wants to come through. I want to make some space for that. So give me a moment here. Just give me a moment here. While I allow this to come through, I invite you to breathe into your heart space. To open up to the new potentialities available through letting go and trusting yourself as this tornado spins around you of this wormhole, of this eclipse season. It's just coming back to that forgiveness piece. It's coming back to that forgiveness piece. Can you allow yourself to transcend your shame and judgment of self so that you can allow a deeper connection to your whole beingness, your already forgivenness. It has been such a treat and such an honor and such a gift to share this space with you in this moment. Whether you're watching this before the eclipse happens at 9:12 this evening on the 19th on the Pacific time zone, or after, know that this energy is running through the entire rest of the month of April and into May. This energy is really running straight through until the next series of eclipses in October and November of this year. So all of these practices are building our stamina and building our momentum each moment that we forgive ourselves for some small indiscretion, we allow ourselves to expand into a state of forgiveness. We can forgive others for their small indiscretions more readily, and we can allow ourselves to be forgiven by others for the trespasses that we may have. Made. All right, my loves. As always, and in all ways, so much and many loves from all the dimensions.